In this session, I shall try to explain the role of lay people in the wider society. We will begin with John chapter 17, verse 15. Jesus prays to the Father, "I do not ask you to take them, my disciples, out of the world. No, let them be in the world. But Father, keep them free from the contamination of the world." I asked that they not be out of the world, but they may be free of worldly contamination. What does this mean? If you look around in our country, of course things are changing now, slowly, thank God. But still, particularly if you move into the rural area, you can make out which particular group a person belongs to. So for example, in Goa, we have the Adve and the Ube. Some people will have 3 lines on their forehead. They belong to the Shaiva community. Others will have 2 lines like this. They belong to the Vaishnav community. Similarly, some people will have a cap or a turban, and then you know which group they belong. And if you come to Rajasthan, from where I am coming now, among one major religion, there is a subgroup which has a peculiar cap, and their women folk have a particular dress. So wherever they are, whether in the prayer hall or in the mall, you know which community they belong to. Fortunately, Jesus gave us no outward sign of our being Christians. In the 2nd century, an unknown author, unknown writer, wrote a letter to a friend. And in that letter, he says something which is so important today. Christians are in no way different from their companions as far as the outer appearances go. In no way different. They do not have special clothing, special dress, a special cap or turban. They have no special body marks, nothing. They are totally mixed up in the population of that place. Looking at them, you can't guess to what religion they belong. Even their names. For example, I have had some very funny experiences. One day I was standing dressed like this in Lucknow station. One man comes to me with a receipt written in Urdu and says, "Bhaiya, sir, can you read this receipt?" I say, "I'm sorry, I cannot." He's surprised because I was in this dress and I have a beard. He took me to be a Muslim. When some people hear my name, they think I'm a Hindu. And my Christian friends sometimes wonder whether I am a real Christian. That to me is the beauty of being a Christian. My Christianness is not something which I wear on my sleeve. My Christianness is what I am, not my dress, not my appearance. That's the first thing. And therefore, when we are in a place, the culture, the customs of that place, we try to make our home. And for this reason, inculturation is an important aspect of our life today. Today we Christians travel, we leave Goa, we go to all parts of the world. Not only we go to different states of India, we go to different countries. Now we cannot go there and create a ghetto. We are Goans, so we hang together. No, we cannot do that. And if sometimes in some countries there is violence against us, against people from India, it is precisely because we go there and we create a ghetto. People don't want that. They don't want their society to be divided by outsiders. You are welcome to our country. You are welcome to our state. But for heaven's sake, be part of our life. Don't stand outside with your customs, your dress, your food habits. You can do that. But basically, now you are here. Please be part of our life. That is the first thing. The second text that guides us is from the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 5. Jesus uses 3 images to explain the responsibility of the Christian in the world today. First, you are the salt of the earth. Second, you are the light of the world. And third, you are like a lighthouse, a light on the top of a hill. Let us look at our country. Our country is a very strange combination of opposites. Perhaps nowhere, no country in the world has so many religions as we have in India. Hindus, Muslims, Jains, Buddhists, Sikhs, Parsis, and of course Christians. No country in the world has so many temples, mosques, prayer halls, churches, cathedrals, shrines as we have. And nowhere in the world do people go so often on pilgrimages as we people do in India. Not only Hindus, but all people. Christians will go to Bandra, to Velankani, to Nashik, Catholics, and the Muslims will go to Ajmer or to some other place where there are different shrines of Muslim saints. Hindus will go to Tirupati, Banaras, Palani in Tamil Nadu, and they'll go to the temple of Ayyappan in Kerala. So our land looks very, very religious. And so many people from the West come to India in search of God, in search of spirituality. And so we also feel happy. We Indians are very religious people. That is one side of the picture. The other side, corruption is rampant. Sometimes I feel that in India, God, who is said to be present everywhere, who is omnipresent, is less present than corruption. In our country, corruption seems to be omnipresent. It is present not only in the society at large, it is present in the centers of religion, of all religions. All religions. So one begins to wonder, what exactly is religion? And I think today lay people need to understand this, because there is within the church an attempt to make religion more and more confined to the church compound. Celebrations, feasts, novenas, holy hours, charismatic retreats, organized pilgrimages to Nashik or to Velankani. And we think if we are regular in all these devotions, we are good Catholics. I'm afraid we have lost the meaning of being Christian. Years ago, when there was tension between Ireland and England, sometimes even bloodshed, one observer remarked, the English people are good Anglicans. The Irish people are good Catholics. But I'm afraid neither of them are good Christians. Dear friends, it's not enough to be Catholics. We have to be good Christians. Some people in the church may be happy with your participation in church activities, and they will tell you, you are a wonderful Catholic. But I am not sure Jesus will tell you, you are a wonderful Christian. I am not sure. Then what does it mean to be a Christian today? Where there is real joy, love will be there. Because without love, there cannot be joy. Now I come to some other concerns. First, the Christian in the world is called to be the salt. What is the function of the salt? What does salt do? When I was a child, my father would go fishing and he would bring lot of fish. So the first thing my mother would do would to clean the fish, cut it and put salt. In those days we did not have cold storage as we have now. So she would put salt and then fry. So by frying the fish and by putting salt, the fish would remain for some more days. Salt is a symbol of keeping things in good condition, in keeping the society from getting rotten. If you don't put salt in the fish on time, the fish will get rotten. And if you eat that fish, you will get food poisoning. And you may even die of dehydration, vomiting and purging. The salt keeps the fish in good condition. The Christian is called to be the salt. And therefore, the first thing is honesty. Honesty. See, in the private sector, there is much stricter vigilance, much stricter quality control, much demanding discipline. And that is one reason why we resist the privatization of some public sector undertakings. In the public sector, in government jobs, be it government schools, government colleges, factories, banks, the discipline is poor. And so, in the recent times, some of our banks have lost crores of rupees, and bank officials have been partners in that scam. They have been bribed by some people. They have given letters of undertaking, and the country has lost. And the people who are investing in those banks are losing. Our money is robbed by others. Why? Because we are not honest. The first thing a Catholic has to be in the society is to be honest. If you ask me frankly, to me being honest is more important than many of the things we do in the name of being Catholic. For me, it is not so important that you go for Mass every day. Not so important. It's good, but not important. Similarly, many things you do are good, but not important. But being honest is not only good, it is important, it is necessary. We have to be honest. Every day, we have to be honest. There's no getting away from it. We cannot say on Sunday we are honest. No. Every day of the week, we have to be honest. Secondly, we have to be hardworking. Sometimes I personally go to book my ticket. I travel a lot and usually by train. So I go to book my ticket and there are 4-5 windows and I can see the people inside talking to each other. There's a long line of people waiting, but they don't mind. They talk to each other. They go out and drink some tea and come back, or they want to eat some tobacco or some a pan. They go out. Now you can't scold them. They'll delay more. And if you do anything, their unions will get into action and paralyze the railways. So we are at their mercy. They take things easy. Third, be punctual. One day, a foreign visitor went to the visa office. So he was called in the morning, and when he went, the office the people were not there, only the security man was there. And he was told that the office opens at night 10 o'clock. So he asked the security man, where are the people? He said, sir, they will come at about 10:30. So he wanted to go back and come in the afternoon. So he asked the security, and when do they come in the afternoon? The security man smiled and said, in the afternoon they don't come at all. Now this is perhaps could be an exaggeration, but it shows what is happening in our public sector. People are not punctual. People don't work hard, but they demand. You go to schools in our villages in the north, government schools, teachers are absent, or they will employ somebody else to be in the classroom and they are doing something else. So they have a business and they have a government salary. If they get 10,000 rupees, they will give 1,000 to that fellow, the rest 9,000 they will keep. So all this is happening in our country, a country which is supposed to be so religious. Therefore, part of being a good layperson today would be to examine the way you understand religion. You will be a better layperson if you have the right understanding of what it means to be religious. Religion is not acts of piety, rituals. Religion is values, honesty, hard work, punctuality. These values are much more important than many of the things you are doing in the name of religion. Today, when we look at our politics, our country, some of us are frightened that gradually our democratic profile is being eroded. So as lay people, particularly if you are educated, and the more educated you are, the higher you are in the professional circle, the greater is your political responsibility. And you cannot be a good Christian if you avoid your political responsibility. What did Jesus say? Give to Caesar what is Caesar's. Don't pretend to give to God and then say, I have done my duty to Caesar. No! You have to do your duty towards God and you have to do your duty towards Caesar. And if you are not doing your duty towards Caesar, your duty towards God has no value. Let's be very clear. Your duty towards God has no value if you are not fulfilling your political duty. Now, concretely, what you can do. First, voting is a responsibility. We have to vote. Second, we have to vote not by a party loyalty. I belong to this party, therefore I vote for this party candidate. No. We have to vote by our conscience. We have to vote for a candidate who is going to really work for the country, work for the state, work for the people in the village, work for the people in the city. Not because he belongs to our party. No. As Christians, that is not our way of doing things. And therefore, as Christians, you have a right to belong to a party. That is your right. But because you have that right, you cannot abandon your moral responsibility. What is important that is not that your party wins. What is important is that the right people win. The right people come to power, whatever party they may belong to. Similarly, we have ways of expressing our political opinion. For example, you have the Facebook, you have the internet. I personally send out regularly emails with attachments to many of my friends, to the bishops of India, to the teachers of theology in India, and so on. I feel I have something to share. Similarly, you too have something to share. Use your Facebook, use your the column in the newspaper, letters to the editor. Use all these opportunities to express your concern. Not simply send some photos of a wedding party or a birthday party on the Facebook. For heaven's sake, that is too much. We can do something more useful for the country. Create awareness. Generate consciousness of what is really happening in our country. And the more we do that, the more we are faithful to God. Similarly, we need to be concerned about human dignity. Because without human dignity, there cannot be democracy. Human dignity demands that every citizen of this country is respected, whatever be his language, his religion, his gender or sexuality, his caste, and so on. Whether he is man or woman, they are equal. Whether he is a Brahmin or a Chamar, they are equal. Whether he is a Christian or an atheist, they are equal. Whether they speak Konkani or Bengali, they are equal. We cannot make any distinction. That would be un-Christian. We have to respect the dignity of every human being. And therefore, we do not discriminate. Similarly, as Christians, we have to promote justice, because if there is no justice, the dignity of the human person is damaged. Imagine, I'm a contractor. So what I do, I employ more women for the unqualified labor, to carry bricks, to carry the RCC mixture, and I pay them less, because in our society, women get less wages. This is unfair. This is looting. This is cheating. The women are doing 8 hours work, the men are doing 8 hours work, and if they are doing the same work, they get the same salary, the same wage. We cannot give them less. And therefore, if our policy is to employ women and thereby pay them less, our policy is not Christian. Our policy is rotten. it's time that we rethink our policy. And this is also true for people we employ in our houses, our domestics. Today in a country where there is so much unemployment, people are prepared to do work even if you pay them little. They are helpless. And some of us are exploiting their helplessness. Years ago, 1968-69, I was in a tribal area, and one teacher from the government school came to me asking me to sign a document, a memorandum to the government to ban alcohol in that area. And sometimes they naturally drink too much. So this gentleman and his friends wanted to get the government to ban alcohol. So they came to me for my signature. I told them, which is more sinful, to drink alcohol or to suck the blood of the poor. He was shocked, and when he understood, he got angry and walked away. Because he belongs to a community who are running shops in that village. And these shops buy an item for 10 rupees and sell it to the poor tribals at 20 rupees. They are making 10% profit because these poor tribals are uneducated. And sometimes what they sell is not authentic. They will buy plastic buckets which after the first use will break. The plastic is so poor. But the poor tribals are uneducated. So similarly, in our homes, in our families, we have workers from poor backgrounds, and some of them do not pay them properly. Years ago, I was in Old Goa during the Novena of St. Francis Xavier, and the parish priest asked me to take one of the evening masses. And that day the theme of the Novena Mass was justice for domestic workers. That year, the whole Novena was on justice, and my topic was justice towards domestic workers. So in my homily I said, some of us have come here from far away with private vehicles, with taxis, and we have paid enough money. But in your own homes, Francis Xavier is there, in the person of that cook, in the person of that gardener, and you don't pay those people properly. After Mass, I was told, some people were angry with me. Some people thanked me. So where is our religion? There can be no religion without social justice. If you don't believe me, go back to your Old Testament. Read Isaiah chapter 1. Read the prophet Amos. I'm fed up of your religion. Fed up. I want justice. And therefore today, one important responsibility of lay people is to promote social justice in the world, in the society. And as I said, you can express your concerns through letters to the editor, through short write-ups, starting with your diocesan bulletin. You have the Renova Sound. Use it to express your concerns. And you have the local papers in Konkani, in English, in Marathi. Use these papers to express your concerns. And now coming to my last point this morning is the interreligious sphere. See, today we are disturbed by what we see. As I said, there are some people in our country who think that India belongs to one particular group. And therefore there is quite a bit of communal violence. Those who are responsible for this will say, no, it is not communal violence. It is you who are describing it as communal. That's not true. In so many places, people have been lynched, people have been killed, their shops have been vandalized because they belong to a particular religion. In December 2016, some of my friends were going for a carol singing in a village, in a poor district headquarters, and they were manhandled. They were going for conversion. So, we are in a situation where religious animosity, communal violence seems to be increasing. We Christians have a special responsibility. What did Jesus say? Jesus says that God is a loving Father. If God is a loving Father, He is the Father of all. And if He is the Father of all, then it is our duty to bring all together. And therefore, the first thing we would need to do is to examine our parish style. Does our parish style, our parish functioning tend to invite people of other religions or to keep them outside? That's the first thing. Second, can we use our parish infrastructure, our halls, our playgrounds, our classrooms to promote interreligious harmony? How? For example, there are children in the locality who have no privacy for study. They don't have electricity. Now, can the parish make the hall available for these children to come and study? And there are fans there, there are good lights there, there is silence there. They can come and study. And these children will be our friends. They will be Hindus, Muslims, whatever be their religion. Doesn't matter. They are human beings. They are the children of the Father of Jesus. We have to bring them together. Similarly, we have the responsibility of promoting prayer among different groups, interreligious prayer. And there are occasions we can do it. Independence Day, Gandhi Jayanti, Republic Day. Similarly, the parish could have a Diwali prayer service, a Eid prayer service, inviting people of all faiths. But how can we have a Diwali prayer service? Why not? Diwali is the feast of light. Jesus is the light. Why can't we have the Eid? Of course we can. We remember the gift of revelations, gift of scripture. And one of the Eids the Hindus celebrate is precisely after the month of fasting, when they believe that in that month the Holy Quran was given to them. We have received the word of God. We can celebrate the Eid. No problem. So we will have to rethink our whole parish style in the service of the society, in the service of the nation. In fact, today, the parish is not simply the Catholics. That would be a betrayal of Jesus. Jesus didn't come for the Catholics. He came for all. And if He came for all our structures, and the church has plenty of structures, should be in the service of harmony of people, promoting harmony in the society, harmony among men and women, old and children, and in this way building up the nation. That is our responsibility. One last point, and that is political activity. Sometimes some NGO organizes a dharna, a morcha, a procession to make a point heard. We have to use our prudence, our discernment. If that NGO, that proactive group, that social group has a good agenda, we have to join them. For example, they have an agenda to stop loud music after 10 o'clock at night. People have a right for silence. You can't fire crackers any time of the day. Just because you are celebrating Christmas, you can't fire crackers at midnight. People are sleeping. We have to respect them. And therefore, if an NGO takes out a procession to demand the ban of crackers after 10, we must join them. But then how can we celebrate our Navinas and our feast and our weddings? You celebrate the right way. Simple as that. Your celebrations do not give you the right to disturb others. No. Your celebrations must respect the rights of others. And therefore, whenever there are such movements in our cities and villages where people take out, they are active for a good cause, we must join them. We must support them.